March is absolutely stacked when it comes to new releases for both fantasy and romance books. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 new releases that I am super excited for this month. And stick around to the end because Entangled Publishing sent me a new release that maybe should be on my list. We're going to count down, so number 5 is Summer in the City. This book releases on March 25th, and it is by Alex Astor. And you may know her from her popular book, Lightlark. While she's the author of a young adult fantasy book, Summer in the City is none of those things. It is an adult romance book set in New York City, and there are so many options if you like special editions. They have different ones at different stores, so there's ones at Walmart and Target and Barnes and Noble, and there's like a regular edition. And each of the edges are different, and they also have the store that's selling that special edition inside the end pages of the book. So if you're a collector, these are really cool pieces. Personally, my favorite is the Target edition, but I think all of them are gorgeous. This book is going to have enemies to lovers, set in the city, and a lot of the different scenes throughout this book are set in real places within New York City that are very popular, that you probably heard of or maybe even seen before. Number 4 on my list is The Ragpicker King, and it is by Cassandra Clare and the follow-up to Swordcatcher. Well, I haven't actually had a chance to read all the way through this. Anything that's Cassandra Clare is usually an insta-buy for me. I really liked the Mortal Instruments series and the Infernal Devices series, and rumor has it in Ragpicker King there's a nod to the Infernal Devices, which was actually my favorite series. Number 3 is Emberclaw. This is also a second book in a series. This is the Dragonscale series, and Dragonfall is the first book. It is aptly named because in the first book, a dragon that is in human form falls for a human and the human for the dragon, and all of that is to try to save dragons from being enslaved by humans and get their power back. While this is classified as a romantasy, it's supposedly very light on the romance. It is in the YA category, so no spice in this book, but it has dragons, and so that pretty much means it's on my list. If you like special editions, Barnes & Noble is also releasing a special edition of both Dragonfall and Emberclaw on March 4th. My second most anticipated read for this month is The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore. I have my entire Dream Harbor series right here, and I can't wait to add Strawberry Patch Pancake House right here on the bottom of my stack. This book series is just absolutely adorable, and it's a really nice, light, and easy read, which I think is perfect for reading after my number 1 choice, which I'll get to in a moment. Each book in the Dream Harbor series follows a different couple and has a fun food-based name, except for this one. This one's Christmas Tree Farm, but all the rest of them are food-based. And one of the things I like about this series is as you learn more characters, those characters are in the other books, so you get to continue to see them here and there, even if they're not the main focus. The author has already released the first 2 chapters of the book if you are on her mailing list, so if you want to get a sneak peek, it is available. And I'm also going to be going to one of the live events after the release of this book, so very excited about that. And my number 1 most anticipated new release for March is, unsurprisingly, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I remember reading The Hunger Games when I was younger, and I think I was probably in high school when I read it, and I had a Nook and I just read all the way through all 3 books, probably in a week. Like, I finished Catching Fire and immediately started Mockingjay because I just couldn't stop reading them. I also read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I think it was just so well done. I was really worried when I read that book that it was going to make Snow a likable character, and Suzanne Collins did not do that. In fact, she made sure that you liked Snow even less than you started because you realized how terrible of a person he has always been. Suzanne Collins knows these characters inside and out, and that is what makes me really, really wanting to read this book, because this book is going to be set in the 50th Hunger Games, which means twice as many people were reaped, and Haymitch won this year. So we know the outcome of the 50th Hunger Games is when Haymitch won, but we don't know everything that Haymitch had to go through and who he was prior to going through the Hunger Games. I personally really liked Haymitch when I read the Hunger Games series, so getting to see an insight into how did he become the person that he was? He probably wasn't always an angry drunk, right? How did Haymitch get to that point? And I'm sure the 50th Hunger Games has a lot to do with it. And we get to see that more rebellious side of Haymitch in the later books, and I think that this series will show some of that fight that he had in him when he was younger. Now, I do have an honorable mention, but I didn't want to include this in my list because I already got to read it, and it's a short story, and that is The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This book is already out by the time that this video is coming out. It released on March 1st, and it was also an Amazon First Read, so if you did grab it during Amazon First Reads for February, it has Valentine's Day weekend as a setting. It is not a major theme in the book. And I think for only being 86 pages, it does a great job at really fleshing out the characters. And the premise of this book is that both of the individuals that are living on the second floor of this apartment complex, they're going through some stuff. They're having a rough time. And then their stairs get taken away because the construction company was supposed to take them out somewhere else, and they took the wrong set of stairs out, which is a bad mistake, but they're stuck together there for the weekend until somebody can come and put the stairs back in, so they get to know each other and their romance builds. And it's a really deep read, and there's some heavy topics in there, so make sure you check the trigger warnings, but I definitely enjoyed it. And I do have one more book to tell you about before we open the mystery book, and that is Everything is Tuberculosis. Now, this is not romance, this is not fantasy, this is real life history, but it's written by John Green. If you've read A Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska, Paper Towns, Turtles All the Way Down, which was recently adapted into a movie, you've read John Green. And while this is definitely a very different John Green vibe, John Green is actually narrating this audiobook, which makes me very excited to read it as a member of Nerdfighteria, but also as somebody who's currently working in a space that used to be a tuberculosis lab. Yep, my office used to be a TB lab. Super excited about that. But as a healthcare worker, I've learned a ton about TB and how it really impacts lives, especially those in other countries where the medications aren't readily available. So I'm very curious to read the full history of tuberculosis. And I'm also very excited to open up this mystery box. So let's see what is inside. It says, "Welcome to the Spade Hotel, where love is the ultimate guest experience." So the card that's covering the book says, "Your night is booked, Spade Hotel." And the book is called The Rebel. It's got sprayed edges. Ah, look at this. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm so excited right now. So this is written by Mari Mon. This is called The Rebel. And the card says, "Dear reader, I've always been in love with enemies to lover trope. There's something about the spirited banter and connection between our main couple that comes right off the page. If you know me, you know that I love writing alpha heroes who are brought down to their knees. But in The Rebel, our hero, Cooper Spade, spends an unforgettable 3 nights snowed in and stranded with a mysterious woman. They share a weekend of sizzling touches and passionate nights, but when the weather clears and reality returns, he discovers who this mystery woman really is. The Rebel is filled to the brim with family rivalries, heated encounters in and out of the bedroom. I hope you come to love Cooper and Rowan and the true love they share." It also says on the back, 1 bed, 2 stranded strangers, 3 wildly passionate nights, 1,000 secrets between them. It doesn't say the release date, so let's look it up. So funny enough, this book releases today, so this is a March new release. This book has previously been released, but this deluxe special edition is a March 4th release. So if you like some forced proximity, steamy romance, and secrets, we're just gonna go ahead and add The Rebel to my new releases list. And there you have it. Those are the March reads I'm most excited about. Yes, it's a very long list, so I'm going to have to do a lot of reading this month because I also have a couple of arcs that I'm going to be sharing with you. So make sure you're subscribed so you can also get some recaps and reviews of all the books that I talked about here and a few other ones throughout the month. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!